Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Soule, and welcome to my country report on Ukraine. One thing of note before I get started, I did not know Ukraine was going to be invaded by Russian forces the day that this project was due, so some of this information is no longer true. What can you do? Ukraine began as a group of city-states founded by Slavic tribes in the early Middle Ages. It was subject to the Russian Empire until the Russian Revolution of 1917, and after World War One, most Ukrainian lands were incorporated into the USSR. It would later become an independent nation after the fall of the USSR in 1991 and would hold its first free election on December 1st, 1991. Somewhat similar to the United States, it has three separate branches of government. It has the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The governmental structure of Ukraine consists of 450 members of parliament, a prime minister, and a president. And there is very little separation of power between the judicial and political powers. This has led to large-scale corruption in the government. There's also a lack of a checks and balances system between the federal and local government. And this has led to more political corruption to be left unchecked. Elections in Ukraine are used to choose the heads of state and members of parliament. Historically, half of the members of parliament were elected by proportional representation, and the other half through single-seat constituents. Currently, each member of parliament are chosen by individual constituents. Ukrainian election laws forbid outside financing from political parties. This is due to Ukraine's history of corruption in political parties and in its representatives. Corruption has been a large-scale issue for Ukraine and has led to great distrust with the people of Ukraine. There are a very large number of political parties in Ukraine, with the most prominent one being the centrist party called the Servant of the People. Some of the larger political parties in Ukraine are backed by the Russian government. And as a former communist nation, there are very few far-leaning political movements supported by the people. This is due to the fact that they know the damage that a communist nation can do and do not want that to be repeated in their nation. A history of large-scale corruption in Ukraine has led to people to support a more centrist government in the hopes that that would lead to less corruption. Ukraine is primarily a industrial-based economy. Their main exports include metals, chemicals, and industrial machinery. They were formerly known as the industrial base of the USSR, but are now organized as a free market economy. Until recent events, i.e., Russian invasion, Russia was Ukraine's main trade partner, and Ukraine imports roughly 90% of its crude oil and natural gas supply from Russia. The Ukrainian economy has been in rapid decline since the annexation of Crimea, I think, uh, in 2014. In recent days, pressure from the Russian military has brought the Ukrainian economy to near collapse. Ukraine was one of the founding members of the UN in 1945, but is not currently a member of NATO. Ukraine is often seen as a liability in the international community due to its current relation with Russia, as well as its history of large-scale corruption. For years, Ukraine has wanted to join NATO in the hopes of receiving military backing against Russian aggression. But at this point, Ukraine joining NATO would likely commit the nations of NATO to taking military action against Russia. Current events, as of 2022, Russian forces have officially invaded Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has justified this invasion towards Ukraine as a matter of decommunization and national security. Russian troops are currently amassing on the border for a full-on invasion of Ukraine, and as of right now, they are invading Ukraine. And Russian artillery are bombing civilian districts near the capital of or Kiev. I don't know. Sorry. Ukraine is a nation with a very unsure future. The situation with Ukraine is developing every day and every hour, and its future as a nation, as a free nation, is unknown. A state of emergency has been declared by the Ukrainian government, and despite international backlash uh, towards Russia, uh, the invasion of Ukraine is currently underway. Due to Russia's overwhelming military power, it is unlikely that Ukraine can defend itself from any type of invasion. So far, foreign nations have not provided any military support on the side of Ukraine. The coming days will determine the future of not only Ukraine, sorry, the coming days will determine the future of not only Ukraine, but the northern Atlantic hemisphere as a whole. Here's my works cited. Thank you for listening, and hope you have a wonderful day.